Alright. Well, my video that I thought I had posted hadn't been posted. But I think I was showing pictures of my wife's car that I was working on. Well, one thing leads to another. And of course, if you're there, you may as well do it kind of deal. So anyway, working on a shimmy on her Super. So while I was underneath working on the brakes, got to noticing the lower joint on her steering shaft was bad. So yippee, get to pull the tank, and well, it's just been one thing after another. Nothing major, just a bunch of little stuff. So I got that in. I'm still waiting on a few parts to come in before I can put all that back together. I think the last time you saw this car, or in the other video I should say, I was showing how clean and original it was. Well, that's what I mean. One thing leads to another. But I went ahead and went in here. Floorboards were all in real good shape. There was a patch underneath the battery like always. But I went ahead and put some rust inhibitor on the floor, cleaned all that up, wire brushed it, sprayed it. Digging through my supply of stuff I got laying around here. A bunch of old rubber mat that I had, so I cut out some insulator pads. And going back together with the dash here. Got my wife's new old style shifter, if you can see that, bug pack. Yeah, you don't see that on too much stuff anymore. It's not made in China. That's a US made one, as far as I know. But anyway, the old boy that painted this car before we got it, he did a pretty good job, but boy, is there overspray. So we've been doing quite a bit cleaning all the overspray off of stuff. While I was working on the wiring, I put the passenger seat back in, and man, you can see that. I can see it on the screen. You can see the overspray that's on that seat. Terrible, terrible. But anyhow, getting things back together. New struts, new emergency brake cables. Just a little bit of this and that, a little bit of everything. Now, most people hang clothes on the line. I hang car parts on the line. Got some stuff here sprayed, waiting to go in. And if it wasn't for my parts car I've got sitting right there, I wouldn't have all these extra little things like your fuse box cover and some other various items that go on the dash. Speaking of the dash, let's come over here to the dash. Now, I was hesitant about buying one of these dash covers. As you can see, they're nice. They make the top of the dash look really nice and brand new. But you talk about not fitting Chinese junk. It's pretty close to that. I had to do a bunch of trimming up here in this corner to get this to fit. Had to trim around this vent and had to trim on this side. But for the most part, it fit tight in this corner. It fit tight in this corner. And it fit tight around here. Which I guess that's a good thing. But I got it all put in. And then I got the rest of the dash. It come out better than I thought. Or at least as good as I hoped. See, and there's some fingerprint or something in the blue paint that I couldn't get off. But I covered that dash. I do leather work. So I happen to have some black leather dye. And I rubbed that dash all down so that it would, at least from a distance, somewhat match the nice new plastic top. And it come out pretty good. It's not perfect by no means. You can see I've got some streaks in some areas. But it looked pretty good. Like I say, this is my wife's. It's going to be a daily driver. So, I'm not too sure what else I was going to go over today, other than finishing on that video that I thought I'd already posted. Are you going to help today? Or are you just going to lay around the shop and do nothing? I think he's ready to go for a ride. Every time the car door opens, boy, he's ready. Well, I think I'll probably call it good on this one. I will touch base on this. This would be a video I'll be doing here before too long. This is an engine. We got our first bug, and there was a local guy that had passed away and had a bunch of they used to do mudathons, buggies, and that kind of stuff. So I went to the auction. Well, I bought this engine. Luckily, I only gave $45 for it. The other one they had, which was just like this, all it had was the tin, the doghouse and stuff on it, and it brought $400. Well, it was locked up. Of course, these old farmer stuff, it sits around in the shed, gets stuff dropped on it, it gets dropped on stuff, and it was locked up. Well, I got the cylinders pulled, the jugs pulled off of it, and look at that. Well, she moves nice, in play is pretty good. So, since I'm new to the VW stuff, and I need to put together an engine, I think this is going to be my test run right here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this apart, clean it all up, leave that crank and rods in it. I might buy a different cam or try one of these used cams I've got over here that you can tell has got pretty wide lobes on it. And I'm going to throw this together, buy a set of jugs and pistons and put it together so then that way I have a freshened up engine.